This is problem 3 from the Chapter 7 closure packet. Write each expression below as an equivalent expression without negative exponents. So we cannot have any negative exponents in our answer. We also should not have any decimals as well. So we have a lot of negative exponents in these first 4 problems, so we need to get rid of those. So to do that, we are going to basically make our problems into fractions or flip-flop them if they already are fractions. So I have this 3 to the negative 2 power. So to get rid of this negative exponent, I'm going to write 1 over this thing with a positive 2 as my exponent now. So 1 over 3 squared instead of negative 2. So I wrote 1 divided by 3 squared, and that makes the negative go away by making this into a fraction, okay, with this on the bottom. So now 3 squared means 3 times 3, so that's 1 over 9. So 1/9 is your answer for part A. Part B, m to the negative 4th. To get rid of this negative 1 or negative 4, we're going to put 1 over this problem right here, okay? So now I have m, and making it into a fraction makes this 4 become a positive now. And that's all we can do on that problem. So 1 over m to the 4th is for part B. Okay, so to get rid of negatives, when it's a regular number like this, we're just going to make it into a fraction. Now these two are already fractions, so to get rid of the negative exponent here, we're going to just flip-flop these fractions upside down and make it a positive exponent. So we have 2 over 1, I flipped the fraction upside down. Now I still have this 3 here, it's just not negative, it's a positive 3. Okay? So I still flip-flop it to get rid of this negative. Now I have 3 of these things, or this is really worth 2, right? 2 over 1 is the same thing as 2. So I have 2 to the 3rd power, which means 2 times 2 times 2, which that is worth 2 times 2 is 4, times 2 again gives me 8 for part C. Okay. The same one here, we have a fraction with a negative exponent. I'm going to flip-flop it, 5x over 3, and I have a positive 1 exponent now instead of a negative 1, and that means I only have 1 of these, so that is my answer. 5x over 3 is all we have for that one. Okay. Now we have something with more numbers and more variables going on and still negative exponents. So part E here, first thing we're going to do when we have this fraction, I'm going to divide these big numbers, the coefficients here. I'm going to actually divide those numbers. Now if you actually take 15 divided by 20 in your calculator, you're going to most likely get a decimal. So what we can do instead is divide both of these numbers by something. Okay, well they both can be divided by. I can divide both of these numbers by a 5. Okay, if I divide 15 by 5, I have a 3. If I take 20 divided by 5, I'm left with 4. So those are going to replace that. We just simplified that fraction of 15 over 20. Now it's 3 over 4. So now going back to our variables with the exponents, let's get rid of this x to the negative 3. That's the only variable with a negative exponent. So we need to move that, just like we did up here, move that to the bottom of the fraction. Okay, so let's just rewrite what's there, x to the 3rd. Now I moved that to the bottom and I rewrote this x to the 4th down here still. Okay, so now we have our y's. So we have a y to the 2nd over y to the 6th. Think about as where are there more y's? There are more on the bottom. How many more? 2 versus 6. There's 4 more down here versus the top. So they're going to have y to the 4th on the bottom of our fraction still. Okay. You can also think about it as subtracting these numbers if you like to think about it that way. Otherwise, you can write them out. I have a y times y over 6 of them. Oops, you can't see that anymore. Y, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then you can cross them out. 1, 2, and you see you have 4 remaining on the bottom. Okay, so if you're not sure, you can write them out or think about where are there more. So we need to simplify this one more time. We only have a 3 on the top of our fraction. We have this 4 still. Now we can combine these x's and we have 4 of them here, we have 3 here, together that makes 7. And then we have y to the 4th. Okay, that's for part E. Okay. If we have a fraction, we're going to kind of compare our exponents there. Part F, we have 3x to the 5th, y squared, all of that to the 4th power, which means we have 4 of these things. So I'm going to write all 4 of them out. Now you don't have to write them all out here. There is another way to do it. But if you get stuck, just write them all out, okay? So these would all be kind of horizontal if I had some space, but I don't. So I have all of these things 4 times. So with our coefficient in front, all of these terms here are really being multiplied. So I'm going to take 3 times 3, which gives me 9. This is also 3 times 3, which is also 9. So I have 9 times 9 gives me 81. So my coefficients multiply to 81. Okay? Now with my exponents, I'm just going to count them all up, add them all up. I have 5, 10, 15, 20. So I have x to the 20. And then with my y's, I have 2, 4, 6, 8. So y to the 8th. Okay? That's for part F. Part G. Now this throws off a lot of people with these parentheses, but it means the same thing as like this big circle for multiplying, like that dot there. So I'm going to rewrite this without the parentheses. And I'm going to also get rid of this y to the negative 1, just to get rid of that negative exponent. So times, instead of parentheses, I'm writing that symbol, 5x, and I'm only putting the y to the 1 on the bottom, or just regular y. So that's the only thing that has a negative exponent. It is only touching the y, okay? So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to multiply my coefficients. 4 times 5 is 20. And I'm going to count out my x's. I have 7 and 1 more, so that's 8. And then I have 8 y's on the top of a fraction. I can continue this fraction all the way over. I have 8 on the top and 1 on the bottom. So there are 7 more on the top versus the bottom, or you can also subtract those. 8 minus 1 is 7. All right, so those are that's how I simplify that part. Last part of number 3 is h. So again, just like part E, we're going to simplify this 18 over 8 first, this fraction. So what you could do is you could divide those, but you're probably going to get a decimal on your calculator. So let's think, what can I divide both of those numbers by? Okay, I can divide both of them by 2. 18 divided by 2 gives me 9. 8 divided by 2 is 4. So I simplified that fraction first. Now I can look at my exponents with the variables. X to the 14th over x to the 9th. You can subtract those when we divide this stuff. So I'll have x to the 6th on the top, or compare them, think where are there more. And I have y to the 5th over y to the 5th. Those are the exact same amount. So if I were to write out 5 y's and then 5 y's on the bottom, they would all cross each other out. So leaving none left, or the number 1 would be remaining, because they all are the same thing divided by the same thing. So really, I don't have any y's left. I only have that as my thing. Oops, you know what? That's supposed to be a 5 right there. Sorry about that. So if I take 14 minus 9, that should be a 5. So you should have 9x to the 5th over 4.